He
Sir,
will join. So now I welcome all the attendees and Dr. Renuka Madam to the resource person. As you all know, this is Science Dialogue series, and purpose is to disseminate knowledge or to increase the pool of bioscience knowledge, so that not only now those who are attending, but in future also people can go through that recorded video. And this is we have not exactly counting the number, but this is more than 120 lecture. In this series we have invited Dr. Renuka Survajala Madam, and as you know, she is MSc PhD in chemistry, and sorry, BSc and MSc in chemistry, PhD also in chemistry, but in a drug delivery system from Manipal Institute. And she has also worked after PhD in Indian Institute of Science and other reputed institute. बैकग्राउंड में कुछ वो हो रहा है ना, कुत्ते के भौंकने का आवाज आ रहा है शायद. Okay. So, and Madam is also empowering the women. She is also leading so many organizations to empower the women scientists mostly. So this is good. And in bioscience subject, Madam is in chemistry, but in bioscience subject, proportion of women is more. So, Madam, I think that's why she has started working on bioscience aspect or application of chemistry in bioscience. She has worked on nanotechnology and delivery system. Uh, so, Madam has extensive experience, and we are grateful on behalf of this Science Dialogue series to Madam for accepting our invitation and ready to deliver lecture online, because I know online lecture delivering is very daring task. Even if you have knowledge, it's not easy to express your knowledge in front of the people who to whom you are not knowing. It's not easy. So we are grateful, Madam, and we are thankful to you. And obviously those who are attending, they will learn, so they will be thankful to you. And we request all the researchers to attend the entire lecture, then you will enjoy. And we also give e-certificate if you will attend complete lecture and fill the this Google form. Generally, we don't take exactly the feedback of the speaker, because we invite a speaker who are very known in his or her field. If you need e-certificate, then you must fill with your proper name. Sometimes people write short name and then ask ki sir mera to naam aadha aa gaya, but you have to attend complete lecture. This is not popularity stunt. This is main purpose is to increase the knowledge pool in bioscience system. Mainly bioscience means people from other background also, if they cheap knowledge in bioscience. And so we invite Madam is from chemistry background, but her work is directly related to bioscience. That's why. So, Madam, thank you. And now platform is yours, Madam.
thank you very much,
Anyone
sir,
can interact
for
anytime. You can write question. Yes, Madam.
yes. Thank you very much, Gopal sir, for inviting me for this webinar. Enthusiastically doing a lot of webinars. I really appreciate your time and energy involved in. And yeah, I will just share my screen and then we'll start discussing. I hope my screen is visible, right?
Yes, Madam. Yes, full screen. Yes, it's visible.
So basically, as Sir was mentioning, I'm a chemist with background and turned to be as a structural biologist and learning and understanding the how the structures of macromolecules can be a great challenge to address multiple functional aspects. But today I would like to share my knowledge related to molecular imprinted polymers that can be used as drug carriers with multiple clinical applications. So this will be a great interest if somebody is looking into the translational value. So anything which we are working basics from the basic science, if you can translate your knowledge to that societal causes, that will be the real thing which you feel very comfortable, and I'm very happy when I do such things. So presently working as assistant professor in Department of Chemistry in Manipal University, Jaipur, and also I'm an alumni of Manipal University, Jaipur. So that's where the content goes with the introduction towards how, what are my molecular imprinted polymers, what are the various methods to synthesize them, what are the unique features they are having, and the clinical applications, advanced approaches if we can bring up to these molecular imprinted polymers, and overall conclusions. So, molecular imprinted polymers. So, imprinting is nothing but when we have some wet area and then you put something, or your hand or leg, then it starts printing the food. So, similar to that, we can also develop with the polymers, imprinting any drug molecule, and then it can, when we extract the drug molecule, it should remember the structure of that molecule. That is nothing but molecular imprinted polymers. It's all, these are all polymers which can remember the exact structure, and that is where the imprinting or the mimicking happens, and that is where the applications are related in a broad spectrum. So when we have the drug molecule, then they can be used in a different way, and when we remove them, then we can use in a different way. So coming to the history of the molecular imprinted polymers, way back in 1930s, it has been started capturing interest by Paul Clough, where he was looking into the silica networks to have selectivity, and Linus Pauling, who has hypothesized how these molecular imprinted polymers can be used for addressing the selectivity in antibodies with respect to the antigens. And in 90s, there has been a wide drastic increase in its importance with respect to increasing applications towards developing organic polymers with high
Okay.
selectivity and specificity. So there is a society which is run with UK, Oxford University, that is a molecular imprinted polymer society, and I am part of a member of this society as well, actively knowing what is exactly happening here. And then there are a lot of openings where you can collaborate and also share your knowledge, and then go as a visiting scientist as well. Satisfied. And as we see that how these scenario with molecular imprinted polymers, still it is emerging, so there is lot of scope. We can apply them and utilize them in different translational approaches. So that's where I'm interested in, and they can be redesigning with the focus towards understanding the mechanism. So that is where these are with molecular imprinted polymers. So outside they are less expensive, versatile, and can be robust with pH and temperature, mimic the natural ones like the receptors, and as well as high stability, reusable, and reproducibility. So these are the main features which help them to be more effective with less cost. So molecular imprinted polymers will develop these cavities within the polymer. You have the drug cavities, so that's where these have been and how we develop these polymers, or with respect to methods, polymer methods. One is sol gel method and self assembly method. So these two methods are very widely used in developing polymers. But how you select the functional monomer, cross-linker, and as well as the initiator plays a very important role. How they can bind with the drug molecule. So ultimately, you need to optimize the concentration of the functional monomer, cross-linker, and as well as initiator. So cross-linker will be in the middle, and the initiator will be here, and the functional monomer. So all together, it forms the matrix with the pre-polymerization and post-polymerization, and later on it forms the polymer matrix. And you have the drug molecule which is in between, and then that will be the one which you find lot of pockets of these drug molecules in the polymer, which are holding with or bonded to these on the surface. So when you can remove the drug molecule, but still you have the cavity that can recognize, and that is nothing but the imprinting material. So that is where these molecular imprinted polymers are, and there are various studies or various literature available with respect to how to develop these molecular imprinted polymers using the covalent non-covalent imprinting, covalent imprinting, and as well as semi-covalent imprinting, which is nothing but organic, inorganic, and as well as hybrid kind of polymers, or the functional monomer selection and the cross-linker. So if you have the combination of both the organic and inorganic together, then it will be a semi-covalent or the hybrid polymer that can be developed, so that you have a better imprinting factor. So these are the methods, or the basic methods, which you can consider when you want to synthesize any kind of molecular imprinted. So to address the role of specific selectivity for caffeine, we have considered caffeine as the template molecule in one of our studies, and it tried to synthesize these molecular imprinted polymers. So the entire synthesis, which includes with organic polymers, we have used methylacrylamide, and as well as isobis, isobutyl nitrile, and EGDMA. And we have used the template as caffeine. So after doing the several steps, then we will be able to synthesize a solid material that is nothing but the molecular organically imprinted molecular imprinted polymer. We have without imprinting the polymer, and also without a template, and as well as with template, we have synthesized both of them, and try to see with FTIR what is the absorbance they are having, how different they are. So the in non-imprinting, there will not be any kind of absorption with the template, while the in molecular imprinted polymers have the absorption at 280 nanometers. So that is one validation which helps us that there is a difference between non-imprinted polymers and the imprinted polymers. So we have done a lot of extensive work with respect to the characterization, how the size will be, and what kind of matrix. So you can see in the some visualizations also. So all these are drug molecules which are attached, and these are the some images relevant to the organic molecular imprinted polymers. And we can also know the elemental analysis helps us to understand, are there any contaminants present in this material, or do we have what we are looking in. So this will help us to understand the size of the polymers. They are nano in size, and they can be also considered as the nanopolymers. Coming to the inorganic polymers, we can use some functional monomers with respect to silicates. We have used ethyl orthosilicate and as well as 3-amino propyl triethoxysilicane and with the template molecule caffeine, and try to synthesize them pre-polymerization and as well as polymerization and process and try to synthesize these polymers. So we try to synthesize them and then try to see a difference between the non inorganic non-imprinted polymers and the imprinted polymers with FTIR. And then later on we have done the SAM and to know the difference between the imprint organic and inorganic imprinted polymers. What is the size, and is the if the size is good enough, how is the size of the particles? So they are 30 to 50 in nanometers in inorganic, while it is about 10 to 20 in organic. So these allowed us to look into the other unique properties of molecular imprinted polymers, that is with respect to selective recognition and rebinding. So once these polymer concentrations need to be optimized and you need to find which concentrations are good to synthesize them, then you can look into the properties of these polymers. You need to extract the template or the drug molecule from the polymer. So you need to find what is the solvent which suits them to extract this and try to have the OD values for that, and then try to find what is the imprinting or capacity of these polymers and how much is binding and how much is imprinting and its binding capacity. So all these studies, extraction studies, help us to know how much is there in the polymer, the drug molecule, and if you remove, how much is releasing out of this polymer. So apart from that, we can also do swelling studies which help us to understand the rigidity and as well as the solubility of the polymer, how efficient they are, and what kind of polymers that does the structure differ, or if the structure differ, if they become wet, will it regain the size? So all this will be a good way to understand the properties of the molecular engineered polymers. And then we can also do the rebinding studies where considering different analogs of the caffeine similar to the structure of the caffeine molecule, like the naphthalene, phenazone, hypoxanthine, or the three other analogs which we have considered in this study, to check whether the template, whether the after the extraction, whether it is going to recognize the same molecule or a different molecule, or if it is recognizing, how closely relevant molecules are they. So all these properties can be also studied in in the form of rebinding studies. And in the rebinding studies, you will understand whether the selectivity of the polymer. So in this way, it will help to develop a unique feature for our polymers which have been developed, and we have studied with different concentrations with different analogs and try to find how they are behaving, what kind of selectivity all these synthesized polymers are having. So this will allow us to look into a selectivity properties that really matters when we are looking in developing a material for biomarkers or for the diagnostic the kit or the material that is used as a nanopolymer that is used for developing the biomarker for diagnostic kits. these properties can be studied very well and try to find a better polymer that can have more potency selectivity in these towards a specific template or drug molecule. So we have done for both for the organic and inorganic polymers, and then we have identified the non-inorganic molecular imprinted polymers have more efficiency compared to that of the organic, and in case of the rebinding. So this allowed us to look into the other aspect of the molecular imprinted polymers, whether they are bioavailable or not. So bioavailability can we have studied with considering breast cancer cell lines, and here we have considered an NC of 7 cell line and try to find how it is different with the molecular imprinted polymers. You can see with caffeine alone, it has high IFC values compared to that of the non-imprinted organic polymers, and with doxorubicin. So we found that they have 2 to 3 folds of less IC50 values compared to that of the caffeine. So this made us to look into the alone the drugs and also with the molecular imprinted drug molecule. So which indicates that there is a lot of change in the values of the IC50 values, and then the toxicity is also less compare in organic imprinted polymers. So and also in the inorganic imprinted polymers. So this is one aspect we looked into the bioavailability with respect to the caffeine. Another study which we have considered with respect to an anti-cancer drug, that is bifluorouracil, which is a well-known chemotherapy drug which have been used in a broad spectrum of cancers, but there are some limitations with that with respect to its short life and fast metabolism, and also it gets deposited in the liver. So it has lot of limitations, and that's the reason we are interested look into the 5-fluorouracil toxicity. Can we regulate or look into the drug dosage aspects. So for that, we have limited studies with respect to molecular imprinted polymers targeting the 5-fluorouracil. So we thought of developing 5-fluorouracil as our template and develop the molecular imprinted polymers using the self-assembly method with different concentrations of the we put the some concentration of the 5-fluorouracil constant and also the functional monomer constant, and little difference in the cross linker we have made, and then the initiator concentration is also constant. So in this way we try to look into the how this can be synthesized with different concentrations and which one can be a better way to synthesize them, and looking into the surface or the size of these particles also. So that allowed us to select both the look into the organic and as well as inorganic molecular imprinted polymers which can be developed for the 5-fluorouracil, and this and also the hybrid polymers. So if you see the structure or the image or how they are differing with each other, the size of the particles and the stress or phase structure texture of the particles also differ, which can be easily captured in the sum, and try to visualize them. Now, coming to the after synthesizing them and trying to understand how these unique features they are having. We need to know how they can be applied as well. So that we chosen to look into the biosensor applications with respect to molecular imprinted polymers. So the template or the electrode has been developed with the silver ink, and then later on we try to develop these electrode with the yes, printing the electrode, and then dropping the molecular imprinted polymer which has been with the template. And then once the template with the polymer MIP is dropped on the electrode where the droplet is, and then we need to remove the polymer. So that is where we need to know how this can be removed, so that there will not be any drag. Once we use a solvent, then the template which is there in this can be removed, and then there is no polymer drug molecule in that, then it is a NIP. So it should behave like a NIP even when we remove the template from this. So there we have done similar kind of thing and try to remove the drug molecule from this and try to make this electrode ready. So we try to look into the different electrochemical potential parameters, and try to find its sensitivity, how they are sensitively they are working with respect to the sensitivity. We try to calculate with different concentrations and try to identify that it has high sensitivity with 0.08 so that allowed us to go further looking into developing a tool or a diagnostic way helping us to look into the diagnostic approach. So that is where we are still working on that, and we are still looking into broad spectrum of these challenges with respect to biosensor applications. Uh, Another thing which also came in parallel to us is it's a tedious process to synthesize different polymers, organic, inorganic, and as well as trying to find, optimize them, and characterize them. It takes years sometimes until you find the better way to synthesize them. And also you need a good infrastructure as well to do all the characterization. So to overcome such situations, why can't we were thinking, and then we thought that why can't we use machine learning algorithms to understand from the literature and try to develop the drug molecules with with predict the imprinting factor for these drug molecules. So we looked into the that was one thing which helped us in this study. So we was little bit into the computational side, that turned ourselves to look into the computational aspects with machine learning algorithms, considering collecting all the data which is available in the literature with respect to molecular imprinted polymers. And then we have our own data as well available, which is synthesized, and we have a lot of optimizations done with the two main drug molecules. So we thought that why can't we develop or try to make them train these data. So we have taken the literature data and the trained data set in 7 is to 3 ratio, and then try to find what are the algorithms which can be used to train these models. So we considered decision tree, random forest, Cannon, Lasso, and Rigid. So all these are used, and we have considered eight key attributes which play key important role in defining the features of these molecular imprinted polymers. So that helped us to think of the algorithms and calculate the imprinting factor, and then later on making a workflow to predict the imprinting factor using ML models. So that's where we try to collect the experimental data, literature data, and then try to segregate with respect to the template, monomer, cross-linker, and then made the molecular descriptors with the smileys, and and some other features also, eight features as I was telling before. So that was also considered, and trained the models with different networks, and then we try to imprint and deploy that as a web server. So everything which we are doing should be easily usable to is user friendly. So that is where the deployment of this work has been done as a in the form of web server. So we calculated the RMSE values and try to consider which one is better, more for this model which can help us to have the better RMSE value. So we took the random forest, and then yeah, and then I will show a little video of this of this web server, how we have developed, and how it functions with respect to. So there are some features which are inbuilt. You can give the smileys of the polymers, and then automatically you can give the functional monomer, you can give the cross-linker, you can give the how many molecules you want, and later on it will yeah, it will process the machine learning models, and then try to find what is the better imprinting factor if you have
Ma'am,
these
just a minute.
combinations.
Your video is very blurred. We couldn't see anything clearly.
Yes, yes, I can understand, but I hope, yeah,
Yeah, it could be due to network, I think. But
yes, yes.
what is the server name? Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we this is a molecular. We are still in the process of
Acha, acha,
developing.
okay, okay, okay.
So,
It is
yeah.
not yet in public then.
Yes, yes. No, we are about to publicize it,
Hmm.
so it's not that we are happy. So here, once you give the input as the molecules, then you can predict this imprinting factor with the algorithms, and will show that this what are the molecules here, its structures. Now the advanced way we have done is developing into a polymer material with the drug molecule. So the visualization of the whole polymer is also possible. So we are about to deploy it. It will take little time, but I will definitely share with you all so that it will be useful. So that's where the whole data and everything is, and yeah. So the imprinting factor prediction tool we have developed for MIPs. Yeah. In conclusion and way forward, we have been working on developing these molecular imprinted polymers, and with the different drug molecules, and then look into the functional aspects with applications, and apart from that, develop this a web server which can be a better way to customize design, customized molecular imprinted polymers, which can help us to develop cost effective and timely develop drug delivery systems and biosensor materials. So a way to have clinical applications we are looking at. And I would like to thank Dr. Gopalji for giving this opportunity to share the research which I have been carrying for last several years, almost 6 to 7 years, and in Manipal University, Jaipur, and also encouraging BioCruise.org, who has been constantly like a supporting pillar for me to do and learn computational things, getting involved in several addressing a lot of questions which are given to me, and several things which I feel very happy visualizing the structures and trying to learn from each other in the form of a society. And the biosensor work has been carried in Satish Babu Lab in Amrita University, Coimbatore campus. There are several students who are involved in, and I really thank all of them to be part of this journey. And help me out with whatever ideas I have to implement and get it deployed in the form of the way it should. It is shaping up today, and yeah, I thank all my collaborators, funding agency from Virat. We do received a small grant, and yeah, thank you very much.
थैंक यू सो मच मैडम, बहुत स्मूथली आपने बहुत अच्छा से बताया